Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and jump into the mini schemes here for the Tampa Bay playbook. And I want to talk to you about what is a mini scheme and how to use it effectively in an in-game situation. What a mini scheme is basically, you know, your first drive of the second half, or your first drive of the game, or just any drive. It's mainly a scheme you're going to run for maybe one drive a game, and then you're going to get out of it after that. And again, guys, it's called the wing. I also want to look this up. It's called the wing trips week. That's that formation we were talking about earlier out of that slot wheel play. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with mini schemes, and I'm going to give you probably 5 or maybe 3 mini schemes, maybe even 4. But we're going to talk today about the bunch offense and why the bunch is effective every year. Basically, the base play for the bunch mini scheme is just going to be the Bucks cross or the slip screen. It doesn't really matter. We're mainly going to be using the quick autos to be real. And so all we're going to do is the main play is the PA post. All we're going to do is we're going to block the running back. We're going to drag Williams. Williams is going to be zone, and the stuff on the right is just going to, it's so hard to defend the bunch. On the right, the bunch receivers there, their routes. And so you read, I broke this play down in the West Coast scheme, but your reads here are, you're going to read Clark, then you're going to go to Jackson, then you're going to go to the drag, and then you're going to go to Ben if all else fails. Every route on this play has to be user guarded. Again, it's a snap throw, and you're going to get a little screen block. It basically works like a wide receiver screen. With the flow of the play, what's going to happen is they're all going to the right side of the field. So what happens is there's no one that can go with the triangle receiver fast enough to get out there to cover him, and that's why they're going to have to use or defend that route. Once they start shutting down the screen, we're going to be throwing the ball to the circle receiver, and there's 3 different windows you can throw it. You can snap and throw it to him, and that will happen some. He will sometimes hit and drop it. Or you can wait and now throw it to him, and he'll snap back. Or you could wait until he finally finishes his route and makes his cut to the inside and is now moving over the field, over the middle of the field. As you see here, he's going to come right down underneath the zone. So moving on to the next route, we're going to be talking about the Ben route, and all you're going to do is you're going to pass to the inside, probably about 9 o'clock on your joystick, and you're going to click on and you're just going to go get the ball. Okay? And now we have a safety valve route. Say they're using and do something crazy on the left. Well, we have our drag. So that is how I run the PA post first setup. Now the second setup is when they're starting to establish to me they can stop the left flat route. So we're going to go ahead and drag Clark. And we're going to go again block the running back. You could put him on a wheel route, but personally I like to block him. Again, Williams you could put on a 10 and out, or you could actually leave him on his default route. I personally like to 10 and out. The first real play is going to be the drag, and then it's going to be the out route. Then we're going to read these 2 dudes, Jackson and Ben. So again, you have the out route, and again you're going to be able to suck down the flat route because the drag is basically a flat route almost. So if that's all covered, again you have your high-low read between that little angled slant and the angled post. But again, the drag, if they start zoning up like crazy on the right. So that's pretty much how I run PA post. We went over how to run verticals earlier. I run it the same way from the shotgun bunch. So I'm not going to spend any time going over that. We got the draw and the quick auto blow up. I went over spacing as well. Another setup is a streak Ben and drag Williams. So you can do that, and again, Williams is now going to be your man coverage your man coverage read, and Williams will be your zone read if all else fails over here. But again, you have that snap back hook that you want to work on in the practice mode. You run all the way down to the draw, which is excellent. So that's how I run the bunch. And then the cool thing is I can go right down into the single back bunch, and nobody moves, so it's a smooth transition. And I can pop with a spot dig and just throw that route. Okay? So that is the bunch mini scheme in a nutshell. So we're basically going to run the single back bunch and the shotgun bunch up and down the field on for maybe 1 to 2 drives a game. Okay? So we're going to go to the next mini scheme now. We're going to talk about the gun empty buck. And we're going to go ahead and just run the gun empty buck stock. And the play we're going to come out in every time is the slot wheel. And the reason this isn't in the main novel is because I don't like having 5 on the main novel. But I'm telling you guys right now, this is a really good scheme, and you could run this all game. Go ahead and drag Martin, and then go ahead and re-streak Jackson. And your first read on this play is going to be Martin, and then your second read on this play is going to be Clark, and then your third read on this play is going to be the wheel route, see if you can pass through that against man coverage. Then your fourth read on this play is going to be go back to the streak, see if you can use or catch that, see if you get a one-on-one. And last but not least, you have your bag D killer and Williams, your angled streak, or angled post. So, but most of the time you're going to have your drags. I rarely ever get past the drag read. And having this playbook up, in the trials, I really haven't gotten past the drag reads. But you see that little blue route drag, it's so good. So just going to establish that, and see how the drags like they're almost like screens. I mean, it's just it's so good, and it feeds my addiction to quick passing this year. So, but again, wheel route, it will be cover 2, as you see there. You can pass lead to the outside. So, but the drags are the key. The drags are going to beat man. The drags are going to beat zone. They have to be user defended in this scheme because you see how they're inside. So, go ahead and block line aggressive. Then you're going to pick up every blitz in the game, and then you're also going to get probably some of the best passing combinations in the game, in my opinion. We'll show you the streak here. Just going to pass it to the inside. So you pass it to the inside, click on, and you're just going to go get. You're just going to literally overrun the route, basically like you're trying to shove your the dude guarding you into the like shove him inside, and you see he's not going to go with you, and you're going to be able to body him up. So that's how I run that play. We're going to go to quick pass audible up. I don't run this play at all, so I'm not even going to go over it. Deep pass audible. Basically, have the 2 flat routes here, so you're going to run hot routes off that. So all you're going to do is drag Williams and slant Jackson. Okay. R1's going to beat man coverage. The drag is going to beat zone. These 2 flat routes are going to hold up against blitzes, or your blitz beating routes, and that's your slant or check down if you need something. So you see here the zone, the slant and the drag combination is really good this year, in my opinion. And that's how I run that play. Just mix it in some. The run audible down is the curl flat. So all we're going to do is deep out, basically the standard setup for curl flats. We're going to streak Clark. And you have your flats, and then you have your outs. So you have the snap throw to the streak, so that's your first read. If you can snap throw streak, pass the inside or outside. And then your second read is if you can throw the outs. So you could leave him on that angled slant, or like a slant hook kind of thing. But personally, I like the streaks because it makes them respected. Plus, we've been dragging a lot, and you can pass it a streak against zone. So that's how I run that play. Let's go over the play action audible, and this is just the double drags. This is again double drags. These are blue routed drags now, and we have a different person on the angle post. And now what we're going to do is deep out Williams, and we're going to streak Jackson again. And just lob it up. You don't see any safety over top. We'll watch the drags. You see how they block and then they release. Like literally, they kind of just sit there, pick up a blitz. If it's there, if it's not there, they'll release. So see how they sit and then they go, and they sit in a spot against the defense that you don't want to have to guard. So that's how I run the 5-wide empty buck mini scheme from this formation. But the main play I run is a slot wheel, and then I also run the this play here and the double drags. I mainly just look at these drags because I'm telling you right now, these drags are just money. Because the drag is already the best route in the game. Now you make a double, like a blue route drag. I mean, we're in heaven. So, not literally, guys. That was a joke. The other thing I want to talk about, okay, so the next scheme we're going to go over is the single back jumbo scheme. And basically you're just going to come out in whatever play you want. I like to come out in the counter, but there's 3 or 4 plays here that we need, and that's why it's a mini scheme. You have to huddle up every time for this formation, unfortunately. But you're going to come out in the stretch, or you're going to come out in the counter, or you're going to come out in the play action stretch. So we're going to go over all of them in the guide. So the stretch is just a standard stretch. But we have 2 tight ends out there, so it's going to make it even better. Your run audible down is a halfback dive. I don't like the audibles other than the run audible down. I'm just going to say that, so I'm not going to even go over them. But run audible down, halfback dive. Now let's go over the counter weak, and the counter weak is really good this year, especially at a jumbo. As you see, we get that little crackback blocking. We're going to average probably 3 yards of carry on that, and you can playmaker to the left, and they may think you're playmaker in the stretch, and instead you're playmaker in the counter right, and now you're range to the strong side on a counter run. You could go ahead and run it again, run one more time to the left. You see, we just get pretty good blocking out of that play. It's a nice mini scheme if you want to pound the rock, kind of shut the game down. Go ahead and throw in LeGarrette Blount. And then we're going to talk real quick about the play action stretch. And the reason we like the play action stretch is you guys can mostly imagine we have the pogo route on the left, and then we don't hot route anything, we just smart route the pogo route, and that's our first read. Our second read is the blue routed flat route. We go ahead and read blue route Martin. And then we're going to go to the this little wheel route concept, and then we're going to go back to Clark. So not there, and we pass lead that wheel route in between 3 people. So nothing, no big deal, but yeah, you can pass lead that wheel route. You can also streak Clark if you want, and get a little pass wheel drag concept going on. So you have the interior streak, and then you have the wheel route. Check out Ryan Dykes' video, break down pass wheel drag, and that's literally all we're doing here. We're just doing it to one side of the field. So, and we also have a thread of a poker route. So, just basically the same stuff. It's the same stuff. It's just from different formations, guys. I'm gonna be honest. You can leave the play action on if you want. I don't really. It just throws the timing off on that poker route. So if you do the play action, don't smart route the poker route. So then you would throw it now, and it's kind of dicey if you're going to be able to get it off in time. See, so I wouldn't ever run the play action line, but unless I was not running the poker route. So that has been the Tampa Bay playbook. I'm going to go back and see if there's anything else I want to talk about before I got out. Seems like no. Didn't find anything good from any of those. Tight pair, no, because they were almost. Tight pair, if you want, you can get a little motion going on with the halfback zone and the power O and the slash and zone weak. So just mess around with the motion plays there. The strong tight pair. You have that running back route. You also have the counter. And you have the toss. So if you like the toss this year, I don't personally like it, but if you like the toss or the power O over the stretch or the blast, go ahead and put the tight pair in instead of the H Pro. The weak pro twins real quick. We'll just go over you have a run right in the stretch, and you have a run left in the toss. You have a HB inside will be your quick audible run down, but the passing from this is very limited. So. Overall, guys, Tampa Bay playbook is really effective this year. Tray open, I want to go over real quick as well. You could run everything around the tray open because you have a counter, you have a base, and then you have that stick and nod. And that stick and nod, guys, every year will be good. You also have the 4 verticals in your audibles. You'll have slip screen, Y corner you can do, and this Pat's dig. The Bucks dig is that double move, that hook route, and then it goes out. So it's like a double move. So it's really good. And the unders Y seam, of course, with that angled streak, and that little, again, that route that we can throw to triangle. The reason I'm not showing you guys all this is because I've already showed you this stuff. I'm just going to talk about it for mini scheme purposes. So that's why I'm going over this stuff really quick for the most part. But I don't really run tray open. Be honest with you guys, I just don't. I don't feel the need to. There's not enough time in the game to run all these plays. So I find the 25 most effective plays and then the least effective plays that people can probably sit on eventually. We're going to make those mini schemes. And so we can run it for maybe 1 to 2 drives a game. So what I would do is I would come out in the beginning of the game in the 5 wide, and then in the empty book, and then for the first drive, and then I'd go into my main scheme probably for the second drive. And then after halftime, I'd probably come out in the bunch mini scheme. And then as the game wore on, I'd probably go into the pound it and ground it jumbo scheme that we talked about. So that's just been the mini scheme breakdown for the Tampa Bay Bucs playbook. I hope you enjoyed the whole scheme coming together in this Tampa Bay Bucs playbook. We went over the depth chart. Basically, all it is Freeman at quarterback, Martin at running back, and then we've got Aurelius Bennett, the third wide receiver. The third wide receiver is your fullback in the strong pro, so just be aware of that. And then the first, number 1 and 2 receivers, it really doesn't matter. Just put your best options there. It doesn't really matter to me. I would recommend, if you're playing on PS3, that the second receiver be your worst beat press guy, because he won't get pressed. So that's my 2 cents about that setup. Again, guys, thanks for checking out the Bucs scheme. Hopefully you guys learned something. Hopefully you guys picked up on something. Hopefully you guys are enjoying my offensive breakdowns. I'm not as good at offense as Brian Dykes is, but I do feel like I still have some stuff I can share that maybe he hasn't seen. I'm pretty good with quick passing. He's more of a timing. He's really good with timing routes. So, but anyway. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed that. Again, defensive stuff coming out the wall. Let's see what we got coming. Again, also, all of these schemes I'm going to be writing down, we're going to be doing full games with every scheme that I've been posting, or that I want to be posting. What we're going to do is, we're bringing back Scheme of the Week, basically. We're going to have, what we'll do is, I'll put the offensive scheme video up on my channel. I'll put the defensive scheme video up on my channel as I make them. And then on Thursdays, I'm going to play a game with these schemes and explain what I'm doing, why I'm doing what I'm doing, how the scheme works as an actual scheme. And then on Fridays, I'm going to send the video stuff, all the footage in a playlist to MaddenTips.com. We're going to post it on their main page. And we're going to have a written guide. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through an intro, put a little written intro into explaining more about the scheme. And then if you guys want, I'll put the written setups in for the blitzes, and I'll put the written setups in for this. I'm not going to give you the offensive written setups because it's just too much on me, guys. The reason I'm not is because basically it's going to be, you're going to have 25 plays, and you could potentially have 100 setups. You could potentially have 4 setups for every single play you run. That's why I'm not going to write it all out. I feel like it's going to be a lot of work for me to get done for a free scheme. So if you really want me to write it out, then I'll make an ebook. And I'll sell it to you for cheap. Like I'll sell it to you for what, $5 maybe. It won't be much money, but if you guys want me to make ebooks and stuff like that, let me know. And what I'll do is I'll just write out these schemes. And what we could do with that is, for example, like I could do an ebook on an e-guide or whatever on Arizona playbook. And what I would do is I would give you everything I know out of Arizona, and not just the free content that I put up, but everything I know. And then I would write it out as well. So you have written information. And what we would do is we would tape every game I played with the Arizona playbook, and you'd have access to those videos. So if you guys are interested in that, just send me a message on the forums or whatever. I don't know. I just don't know. I just thought I'd mention that while I'm wrapping up this post. Again, guys, hopefully you enjoy the offensive part of the breakdown. Again, you'll enjoy the defensive part as well. And we'll do these full games. Again, we'll give you the best team possible to run this scheme. And hopefully hopefully we can get a scheme for every single team out there that best suits that team. So guys, again, offense isn't about money plays. Offense is about scheming. Offense is about setting up your defensive opponent. And also offense is about finding a playbook and a scheme that fits your personnel perfectly. And in my opinion, the Tampa Bay Bucs playbook definitely fits a lot of teams perfectly. So hopefully you guys enjoy the setups, and hopefully you guys will enjoy the defensive setups. We'll be bringing them to you. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.